Hello world, welcome back to Not a Bodybuilder. This is week 3 in my journey to get to 12% body fat. It's been a pretty good week, as you'll see the progress shortly. So for this week's content, we're going to get into a physique update as well as a leg, bicep, and shoulder routine. So last week we did an arm routine focused on biceps, triceps, and shoulders. So for these two routines, I don't do them on consecutive days. I leave at least 2 days of rest in between. That's because I don't want to do the same muscle group on consecutive days. I also work out each muscle group at least twice a week, so you might see some of the exercises repeated. So we're going to wrap this video up also with my curried chicken recipe, so you don't want to miss that. But now, let's get into the actual content. So week 3 physique update, let's go! So we're weighing in at 153.8 pounds. This is a loss of 1.2 pounds from last week, which is pretty good. I could have lost slightly more, but it's good. As you can see, there's a little bit more definition. It becomes more apparent when you compare the oblique definition. You can see there's slightly more oblique definition this week. Now moving on to the back. The back is pretty much the same as always. Not much has changed there. It's been a good week. Good, steady progress for sure. Now, I'm gonna flex my biceps. And another time for good measure. Now, let's get into the legs, biceps, and shoulders workout. So first, goblet squat, 15 reps. Make sure you push your knees outwards when you're doing this. Next, standard bicep curl, 8 to 10 reps. Make sure you maximize time under tension by going slowly on this one. Next, standing shoulder press, 10 to 12 reps. And repeat that routine 2 more times. For the next routine, let's start it off with forward lunges, 10 reps per leg. Make sure to push off the leg that you're pressing with. Next, supinated curls. Make sure you start with the neutral grip and squeeze and twist. Finally, let's do a seated single arm press, 10 reps per side to finish off this routine. Then repeat that routine 2 more times. Let's get into the squat with calf raises, 15 reps. Next, inner hammer curls, 8 to 10 reps. Next, upright row, 10 to 12 reps. If you have any shoulder pain during this, do not do this exercise. And let's repeat that routine 2 more times. Now for the special, let's get into the blood flow resistance bicep training. Let's start by putting on the bands. We're going to wrap them in our biceps and try to put the same pressure on both sides. So essentially what this does is prevent blood flow from one direction, allowing us to do more work with less weights. Now let's start with 30 reps of curls. Now let's put the weights down for resting between 10 and 15 seconds. Now let's pick them back up for another 15 reps. Let's rest again for 10 to 15 seconds. Pick them back up for another 15 reps. And rest again for 10 to 15 seconds. And finally, for the last round, another 15 reps. And let's repeat that 2 more times. And this is how you're gonna feel after. You just wanna scream. Ah! Now let's get to the curried chicken recipe. I got inspiration from this recipe from Cooking Made Healthy. I'll put the details in the description. They make a lot of different healthy recipes, so check them out on their Instagram. So let's start with 1/4 of an onion and let's cut it up. Let's put it in a bowl and keep it to the side. Now let's set aside half a tablespoon of minced ginger and half a tablespoon of minced garlic. Now let's organize the spices. So 1/8 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of garam masala, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of coriander, and half a teaspoon of chili powder. Doesn't that look like Picasso's palette? Now let's set aside half a cup of tomato puree and 1/4 of a cup of low-fat, plain, regular yogurt. Now let's prepare the chicken by cutting it up. There's about 160 grams worth. Let's cook it now. So let's spray some oil spray on the pan and place the chicken. And let's wait until it's fully cooked. Once it's cooked, let's put the chicken to the side. Now let's put half a tablespoon of olive oil and let's cook the onions until they're brown. Once they're brown, let's add the ginger and garlic. And let's cook this just for a couple minutes here. And let's add the spices. And just mix it up and cook for another minute or so. Now let's add the tomato puree. If you want, you can add crushed tomatoes to make it more a curry. Now let's add the yogurt and let's mix for about 8 minutes or so. Now let's add the chicken. Maybe cook this for another 5 minutes or so. And we're done. Now let's prepare the dish. Let's put the chicken on a plate. And I eat this with about a cup of brown rice. And let's add some decoration in the form of cilantro. Some people think it tastes like something. For me, it's alright, but don't really get that much taste out of it. And there it is. Look at that. Time to eat these up. So there it is, the first bite. So generally, I don't use rice as a carb source. On most days, I use either tortillas or bread, but you know, variety is the spice of life. So once in a while, I like to have rice. And there it is. We are done. So that's it for week 3. We're halfway in to achieve the goal. So to continue to follow my journey, subscribe to my channel.